Hello and welcome to this live interaction with me, Ashish Parekh. Now, scientists have reported the discovery of the first room temperature superconductor after more than a century of waiting and several researchers. In fact, the discovery has been reported by physicist Ranga Diaz of the University of Rochester in New York and also colleagues and they have reported all of this in the journal Nature. In fact, superconductors transmit electricity without any sort of resistance, now thus thereby allowing conductors and currents to in fact flow without any sort of energy loss. So this particular discovery evokes daydreams of futuristic technologies that could reshape electronics and transportation. Also, while superconductors previously discovered must be cooled to extremely low temperatures to exhibit the desired properties, this particular material is superconducting below temperatures of 15 degrees Celsius, which makes it very likely to be practically applicable. But there's a catch. Now, the researchers formed this particular superconductor by squeezing carbon, hydrogen and sulfur between the tips of two diamonds and hitting the material with laser light to induce some sort of chemical reaction. And in fact, at a pressure of about 2.6 million times that of Earth's atmosphere and temperatures below about 15 degrees Celsius, the electrical resistance vanished, showing that this possibly is a superconductor. And the new material's superconducting superpowers appear only at extremely high pressure, which limits its practical usefulness. To explain to us what exactly is the significance of this discovery and how it could possibly reshape electronics and superconductivity like we know it, I have with me our expert for the day, Professor Pratap Rai Chaudhary, who's joining us live from Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Mumbai. First of all, Professor, how significant is this particular discovery, and are you convinced that this is in fact a superconductor, given the fact that the researchers claim it has satisfied all the properties of a superconductor?
Yeah, so first of all, this is a very important discovery because this is the first time the superconducting transition temperature is going above room temperature.
Okay.
Or if you want, above the melting point of ice. So yes, the results as they have been presented are convincing. And there doesn't seem to be prima facie any doubt that this is indeed a superconductor.
Okay.
However, in addition also, this is not a result in isolation, but this is the culmination of a long series of work.
Okay.
So, superconductivity, of course, was discovered in 1911 by Kamerlingh-Onnes. And for many years, till late 80s, superconductivity remained a phenomena that you can observe only at temperatures which you can get with liquid helium. So the highest superconducting transition till, let's say, late 80s was about 25 Kelvin.
Okay.
Then the high temperature superconducting cuprates were discovered, and that pushed the temperature, that broke 1 mile, that was one milestone.
Okay.
Because now you had superconductivity above liquid nitrogen boiling temperature, which is 77 Kelvin at ambient pressure.
Exactly. Also, Professor, one other aspect that we need to talk about is that a lot of people seem to be excited about it. Now, for people who are not aware of the applications of a superconductor like this at room temperature, can you paint a picture of what we would be able to do with a superconductor that functions at room temperature? What are the possibilities?
Okay, the main reason why a room temperature superconductor is so attractive is because it has zero resistance, and if you can make cables out of it, you will be able to transport electricity without any loss.
Okay.
So this would mean an enormous amount of energy conservation, and therefore this has huge implications for the entire planet. However, beyond that, superconductivity has a number of niche applications. For example, creating large magnetic fields. You normally use a superconducting solenoid. Now, why do you use large magnetic field in day-to-day life? Anyone who has gotten an MRI done knows that he has to go into a tunnel to get his MRI scan done. And this tunnel is actually surrounded by a superconducting solenoid. So you put the person inside a large magnetic field.
Okay.
These superconductors now have to be cooled with liquid helium. Liquid helium is expensive, and that is why MRIs are very expensive to run. They are also expensive machines. If you could have superconducting cable at room temperature, then the whole technology will get vastly simplified and the cost will drastically come down.
Exactly.
So there are enormous possibilities from room temperature superconductor.
Okay. Also, Professor, now when superconductivity was first discovered in 1911, it was found at temperatures close to absolute zero. That's around minus 273.15 degrees Celsius. But since then, researchers have steadily uncovered materials that superconduct at very high temperatures as well. Also, even if this exactly is not practical, this particular superconductor that we're talking about, given the fact that it needs a lot of pressure, is it getting us closer to an exciting future and possibility of a superconductor which functions at room temperature without any sort of pressure and could actually provide all the advantages that you were talking about?
Yes. So that's actually a very exciting possibility. And in fact, there are reasons to believe that in future at some point that will happen. So to explain that, let me explain the genesis of this idea.
Okay.
That here you have a mixture of carbon, hydrogen, sulfur that you have squeezed under very high pressure to get this superconductor. Now, why these three elements, and particularly why hydrogen? The point is, many years back, in the late 60s, Neil Ashcroft had made a theoretical prediction. He was a theoretical physicist who made a prediction that if you can take solid hydrogen, hydrogen becomes a solid at low temperatures, and then if you can drive it into a metal, in that case, it will show high temperature superconductivity. However, the problem is that metallic hydrogen has so far not been discovered. There has been a lot of search by trying to squeeze hydrogen itself and get metallic hydrogen, but it has not happened.
Exactly.
So then another alternative possibility that came up was not to take hydrogen, but to take a compound of hydrogen. Like, for example, these lanthanum decaboride. So, I'm sorry, lanthanum decahydride. This is lanthanum and 10 hydrogen atoms. So this is a compound that was investigated in the last few years, and this was found, when you squeeze it, it was found to be superconducting. And the superconducting at temperatures which is just below room temperature, minus 13 degrees Celsius or minus 20 degrees Celsius, depending on how much pressure you apply.
Exactly.
Now, what is the advantage of taking these compounds? The advantage of taking these compounds is that there was this conjecture in 2004, I think, by Ashcroft himself, that in compounds there will be a chemical pressure, because in compound the hydrogen atoms are not free, they are within a surrounding or they are within a cage of other atoms, and that will apply a chemical pressure, so it is already pre-compressed.
Exactly.
Over that, the amount of pressure that you have to apply to get superconductivity or metallicity would be much less than what you would have to apply for hydrogen if you take only hydrogen.
Absolutely. Now, Professor, lastly, before we wrap up this live discussion, one question that just a single word question, that is this possibly the most exciting discovery of 2020 as far as physics is concerned? Because yes, we had a lot of discoveries like the phosphine gas being detected on the surface and in the atmosphere of Venus. In fact, is this one of the most exciting discoveries of 2020 according to you?
One of the most exciting discovery. Whether it is the most exciting discovery depends on what excites you most.
Exactly.
I think it would undoubtedly be the most exciting discovery when we'll be able to remove the squeeze and yet get superconductivity.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Professor, for joining us on this live interaction. So clearly, one of the most exciting discoveries of 2020, which has been an year that a lot of people would like to forget, but this is something that could change electronics and the future of transfer of data and transfer of all of these information, given the fact that a superconductor that is working at room temperature without any pressure is developed practically apart from all the limitations that are there at this point in time. So do let us know what you think about this latest discovery of 2020, and also leave behind your comments in the comment section below. For more news and updates, keep watching News9 Digital, and also subscribe to us on our Facebook, YouTube and Instagram pages as well. Thanks a lot for joining. Ashish Parekh signing off.